JFK thing.
Explain yourself.
I got all this documentation for this jury duty thing, but the key thing that was missing was what time I had to show up. So I was like, it's probably 8 or 8:30, but I don't want to be late for this, obviously. So I called and I talked to a person, and they said, actually, you're supposed to call after 5:30 the night before, which I knew.
Mm-hmm.
And they said at that time they would give you the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, oh, okay. So I just called at 5:30. And she says, yeah. She goes, actually, hold on a second. And then I hear her talking to somebody. And she goes, oh, actually, they're not going to call jurors tomorrow. I'm like, really? She's like, yeah. I'm like, how do you know that already? And she's like, this is the schedule. And I'm like, okay. And she said, just call at 5:30 to be sure. I'm like, okay. So I didn't call because they ended up sending out an email saying that I would not be called. I guess every day there's like sequences of numbers, and I had called yesterday morning just to see what it was like.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a sequence of numbers that would not have to come in and some that would on Monday. And I have never served on jury duty. This is the first time I've ever been called to do it, and the day before it was supposed to and I rescheduled it. It was originally going to be at the end of May, and thank God I rescheduled it.
Thank God, because you might have actually had to sit on a jury.
I know, and I've got stuff to do at the end of May. So anyway.
Well, we appreciate your sacrifices.
It doesn't involve sitting in a pew.
Maybe there's like a memorial, like license plate you can now get for your civic duty.
Yeah, did not sacrifice for his country. It's like a Purple Heart, except it's black. I don't know.
Oh, good.
Civic Duty Avoidance Day, 2022.
Holiday only you may remember.
I'll put it in the calendar so I can announce it every year. We'll turn it into a thing. It'll be like Festivus. Anyway, here I am.
Yeah, people who aren't celebrating Festivus are Apple, because they are once again finding themselves in the limelight in the EU, where it appears that PayPal has been just kind of poking the bear a little bit, saying like, look, you remember when they did that whole Apple Wallet Pay thing and they didn't let anyone else in?
I just drew this comparison right now, just like I drew the little slogan I gave you before we started. I pulled it right out of my butt. There's a book that came out today that's called After Steve.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, yet another book about Apple and the internal struggles at this point after Steve Jobs died, and how Johnny Ive and Tim Cook had originally worked together pretty well. But then it became clear that the Apple Watch was not going to be the next big thing, and that there would not be a next big thing. And Johnny Ive started drifting off.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to come full circle. I know you don't think it is.
Mm-hmm. Still waiting.
So as it turns out, with Johnny Ive gone, Apple has just iterated on its successful products, which is fine, is normal. There's nothing wrong with that. They're great, most of them. And Apple has had to turn to other sources for growth.
Mm-hmm.
Although, at $3 trillion, you have to wonder.
I was going to say, I don't feel like they're struggling. Like they're not barely keeping the lights on.
This is the problem with America writ large, like that you have to grow all the time, like whatever. So, Apple has found the next big thing. And the next big thing is services. And services started with the App Store, right? That was the original service. People pay like a 30% vig at the time to Apple every time they buy anything through the store. If it's a subscription, they get a portion of that. They added literal subscriptions over time, for iCloud storage first, and then went on to all the Apple One stuff, our Apple Arcade and Apple Music, yada, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. So this, as you were talking, what I was thinking was, Apple is pulling a Microsoft, DOJ Microsoft, in being really belligerent about the many antitrust and court cases that are coming against it right now. But that's this, and it sounds like a mistake, right? You saw what happened to Microsoft when they didn't just, figure it out and work with the antitrust regulators. Mm-hmm. You wonder why Apple would make the same mistake. All you have to do is look at their balance sheet from the last quarter. I think, I could be wrong, but I think services might be their second biggest business already. But if not, it will be. And that's why they're pushing back, because every antitrust related thing that's happening to Apple, like the thing you mentioned, which is Apple Pay and NFC, is services related. And they're protecting that, because that might literally be the boring future of this company. Services, So anyway, I hope I brought that home full circle. I think I did.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. You're like, yeah, whatever. I actually kind of zone out when you talk. Anywho, so, I like to see Apple in court, though. They definitely.
Yeah, either way, their
definitely
day is
yeah.
quickly approaching for various reasons.
I guess they think by fighting, they'll end up getting a better deal than they would if they just folded, you know?
Yeah.
That there's some compromise to be had that's better than what the EU in this case or whatever antitrust body is looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Not as good as what they want, which is everything.
Yep.
But they'll hit somewhere in the middle, and maybe that is a better outcome.
Mm-hmm.
They have an infinite supply of cash to fight things in court, so no worries there. Let it drag out.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you think, like, what's the risk? Like, if what they propose is already the worst case scenario, can maybe only get better.
That's right. Exactly. Well, that's what bargaining's all about, right? You come to, how much is the car? It's $10,000. You're like, I'll give you $5,000.
Yeah, except today it's like the car's $10,000.
Okay,
we'll take $15,000.
Maybe the car was not. I'll give you $25,000, and then you're like, yeah, you didn't get it. Someone gave me $35,000. Yeah, no, it's a. That's maybe not the best example, but you know what I'm saying.
So, I don't know. That was sort of the big tech news of the past.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you care about Roku putting Apple Music on there.
This falls into the category of headlines where you're like, that wasn't already there, huh?
Yeah.
It's like, okay. You're like, whatever. Yeah. This is the second month in a row that the Pixel 6 has gotten a monthly update on time. And the second month in a row where it came out like right at the beginning of the month. Really quick. Apparently fixes some kind of haptic issue. I don't know. I don't even use this thing anymore. I don't care. Bastards. How many tries? It takes Microsoft 3 times to get it right. We all know that story. How many times does it take Pixel? 7? 8? What are we looking at here? And actually, it's not 7 or 8 because they did the A phones too. We're already on like 9, like right now, And I guess you could include Nexus. There were like 6 generations.
I forgot about Nexus.
What are we talking here? We're like double digits. Are you ever going to get it right? Well, some of the Nexuses were okay. That 5X you had and the 6P, those are good.
Oh, the 5X. That takes me back.
The original 5.
Jeez, that's a relic at this point.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But at the time, that was a good phone.
Yeah. I don't know. Not much else other than I solved a food quandary in our house last night.
What?
This is way off topic, but never stopped us in the past. Okay.
Yeah,
so one of my wife's favorite meals is not so much my favorite. It's called beer can chicken. You're familiar with it on
the grill. Yep.
Yeah. So you shove a beer can up a bird's butt, you grill it, and it's whatever. And so my wife just pulls it off, basically just shreds the chicken, and like we just eat like shredded chicken and whatever we have, like green beans or corn or whatever. It's just not my favorite. It's just.
So if I interrupt real quick, your wife should talk to my wife. We used to make chicken like that. She now roasts the chicken in the oven, and that day, especially the dark meat stuff, I sit there and pick at pieces of it like it's still in the bone. Like it's amazing. Like that when that thing comes out of the oven, it's one of the best things. And I'm not really a huge fan of chicken.
Yeah, chicken to me is just like vanilla.
But that thing out of the oven with the skin and the dark meat stuff, it's amazing.
So she does all this, and we have been making this meal for how long have we been married? 12 years? I don't know. Long time. And
don't say it feels like an eternity.
And she just looks at me and goes, you can put this on a bun and put some barbecue sauce on there.
Yeah.
And make like a pulled pork. Changed everything. Now it's great.
I would do that on day 2 because when you get it out, like I said, you get it out, like that is actually good food.
Oh, I know it's not bad food, but it's just it's
just 2 of us here, right? So we get the smallest chicken we can get, which is not very small because we live in the United States, and I eat all the dark meat like right up front, and then what's left is like 2 giant flabby breast pieces and just the white meat nobody wants, and it sits in the fridge. Like sometimes my wife will eat it like as salad, like chicken salad.
Yeah, that's what my wife usually does.
But we literally just threw like a bunch of chicken out because it just sits in there for like nobody wants it after the first day,
So, anyways, I'll be eating those sandwiches twice a month now, probably.
I like the barbecue sauce is acceptable. What puts this over the top is like 8 teaspoons of sugar, and as it would. You know what else would be good on that? Chocolate. Think about it.
Oh,
you just call it mole. Probably be great.
Wish you had Jerry.
I would need it, but